For 2 years, every UK spouse visa guide online has been warning about a jump to £38,700 in required income, a genuinely brutal threshold that would have priced out a huge share of ordinary couples. Here's what most of those guides still haven't updated. That increase never happened. It was paused, and as of 2026, the real number is meaningfully lower. My name is Vincent, and in this video, I'm breaking down exactly how the UK's family visa actually works right now, the real income figure, who's still protected under old rules, and the mistakes that get genuine relationships refused. Let's get into it. The UK's family visa route, formally governed under Appendix FM of the immigration rules, covers spouses, civil partners, and unmarried partners in a relationship equivalent to marriage, joining or remaining with a partner who's a British citizen or holds settled status in the UK. There's a related but distinct category, the fiancé visa, for couples planning to marry within 6 months of arrival, rather than couples already married or in a recognized long-term partnership. Worth knowing which one actually fits your situation, since the two have somewhat different evidence requirements despite covering similar ground. Let's settle this clearly, because it's genuinely the most confused topic in UK family immigration right now. The minimum income threshold rose from £18,600 to £29,000 on April 11, 2024, the first change to this figure since 2012. The previous government had announced plans to push it further, first to £34,500 and eventually as high as £38,700. Neither of those further increases has actually happened. They were paused while the Migration Advisory Committee reviewed the impact of the 2024 change. That review was published in June 2025, and as of 2026, £29,000 gross annual income remains the actual current threshold for new applicants. If you've seen $38,700 cited recently, you're looking at outdated coverage of a policy that was proposed but never implemented. Worth verifying directly on gov.uk, given how much confusion persists around this specific number. Here's a detail worth knowing if you or your partner already hold status from before that April 2024 change. Transitional protections mean anyone who applied for or held a partner visa before April 11, 2024 continues qualifying under the old £18,600 threshold for extensions and eventual settlement with the same partner, even in 2026. This creates a genuinely unusual situation where some couples renewing face a lower bar than couples applying fresh today. Worth discussing with an advisor if your timeline straddles that transition date. One more meaningful simplification worth knowing. Under the current system, there's no additional income required for dependent children joining alongside you. The £29,000 threshold applies regardless of family size, a genuine change from the old system, which added extra amounts per child. The Home Office accepts income from several sources, and a common misconception worth correcting directly. This doesn't have to come from employment alone. Qualifying sources include employment income, either your UK partner salary or your own if you're already in the UK with permission to work, self-employment income, pension income, rental income from property you own, and dividend income. These can genuinely be combined to reach your threshold, rather than needing one single source to cover the full amount. If income alone doesn't clear the bar, cash savings can substitute or supplement it, following a specific formula the Home Office applies. Worth working through carefully with a qualified advisor, given how the calculation interacts with any income shortfall, since getting this math wrong is a genuine avoidable source of refusals. And there's a meaningful exemption worth knowing about. If your UK-based sponsor receives certain disability-related or carer benefits, you're exempt from the standard income threshold entirely, instead assessed under what's called the adequate maintenance test, a more holistic look at whether your combined household income and housing costs can support the family without relying on public funds, with cash savings considered here too, without a strict minimum threshold attached. Meeting the income threshold is necessary but genuinely not sufficient on its own. The Home Office requires comprehensive evidence that your relationship is real. A civil marriage certificate alone doesn't satisfy this. Expect to provide a genuine mix of relationship evidence, joint financial commitments, communication history, photos together over time, and evidence of shared life. Beyond the relationship itself, you'll need to demonstrate suitable accommodation in the UK, adequate to house your family without overcrowding under UK housing standards. Documentation precision matters enormously here. The absence of even a single required supporting document for your specific income category can result in refusal, even when your actual income level is genuinely sufficient. This is worth taking seriously as a real risk rather than a formality. Each income source you're relying on, whether employment, self-employment, or savings, has its own specific evidence checklist, and missing even one piece from that checklist is a documented common cause of otherwise strong applications getting refused. Applicants generally need to demonstrate English at A1 level for their initial spouse visa application, stepping up to A2 for your first extension, and eventually B1 for settlement. This graduated structure reflects the expectation that your English improves progressively over your time in the UK, rather than requiring full fluency immediately. Worth planning your language study timeline around these specific milestones, rather than treating it as a single one-time hurdle. Application fees increased on April 8, 2026, and it's worth budgeting with current figures rather than older references. The overseas spouse or partner visa application now runs around £2,064, while the in-UK extension application, known as FLRM, costs around £1,407. On top of the application fee itself, you'll pay the Immigration Health Search, covering NHS access throughout your visa period, charged up front for your entire visa duration in one payment. Indefinite leave of remain and naturalization fees have also risen as part of this same update. Worth checking current figures directly on gov.uk when you're ready to apply, since fee schedules here shift periodically, and this entire category has seen real movement through 2026. Once approved, your initial spouse or partner visa is typically granted for 33 months. Before it expires, you'll apply for an extension, generally granted for a further 30 months, bringing your total qualifying period to 5 years before you become eligible for indefinite leave of remain, the UK's version of permanent settlement. Worth being clear about a distinct, longer alternative that exists for specific circumstances. Applicants who don't meet the standard financial or other requirements but can demonstrate genuine, insurmountable obstacles to family life continuing outside the UK may qualify under what's sometimes called the 10-year route instead, a considerably longer path to settlement with more frequent renewal stages, generally used when the standard 5-year route genuinely isn't available to your specific situation. Once you reach indefinite leave of remain, British citizenship typically becomes available after an additional 12 months, subject to meeting residency, character, and life in the UK test requirements at that stage, the same general structure that applies across most UK settlement categories. Worth closing on the practical patterns that lead to refusal, since most of these are genuinely avoidable with careful preparation. Using the wrong income figure or applying under the wrong transitional rule is one common issue, particularly given how much outdated information circulates about the threshold specifically. Missing category-specific evidence for your particular income source is another frequent cause, even when overall income is sufficient. Weak or inconsistent relationship evidence, insufficient proof of a genuine, ongoing partnership remains a persistent issue across this entire visa category, and relying on income sources and savings calculations without proper professional guidance, particularly when combining multiple income types or using the savings substitution formula, is a genuinely common way otherwise qualifying couples end up refused on a technical issue rather than a real eligibility problem. So here's the practical bottom line. The UK spouse and partner visa remains genuinely achievable for most couples at the current £29,000 threshold, meaningfully more accessible than the £38,700 figure still circulating in outdated guides. Get your specific income category's documentation exactly right. Build genuine relationship evidence throughout your application rather than scrambling it together at the last minute, and confirm whether transitional protections apply to your specific timeline. If this was useful, subscribe for more family visa breakdowns like this one, and let me know in the comments which country's family reunion system you want me to cover next.